So back to opportunity cost. What I've got here, I've got a gun belt that I picked up from a company. This is an import belt, and I like to get out a lot, and I like to be comfortable, and I like gear that is dependable and doesn't sort of like screw me over in some way performance-wise. So, but in this case, like sometimes you actually got to back it up, and you got to make some mistakes. You're gonna make those mistakes no matter who you are in certain purchases and whatnot, right? And my dogs just got really interested in something, so I got distracted. So I spent maybe 45 bucks or something like that on this belt. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, but I mean, back to our opportunity cost. I have several choices I can make now because this belt sucks, and the hike that I went on, I actually cut it short at about 2.5 miles because the belt was sliding down my back and off my hips so bad that and yet it was cinched up so tight that I could almost not get it off afterwards. And you know, the opportunity cost here is that I lost out on after coming out for a drive with my pups and trying to have some, you know, time to relax and just de-stress and work on some fitness and stuff like that. Get the blood pressure down, that kind of thing. It's been a super stressful year, and I feel like not having a stroke or a heart attack. I mean, that's neither here nor there compared, you know, I'm talking about this, but back to opportunity costs. So yeah, I saved myself 60 bucks or something like that on this belt. What I sacrificed though was the performance, the comfort, the reliability, having my gear in the right place, you know, where it should be, and not having it slide around. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be going to some kind of battle belt system with Velcro loop on the inside, or like with their Velcro inner, and then that you actually put through your pants, which you can actually use for every day if you want to, for concealed carry and whatnot. And I'm going to actually have an exterior belt that's got some kind of segregating loops on it so that my pistol and different things that I'm carrying on my belt are not sliding around. Because one of the other issues that I have taking this belt off is that my mag holder likes to actually slide off and fall on the ground. And if you're like me, that kind of thing really pisses you off. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the valley where I am heard me curse it. So, you know, what I have a lot of gear on this thing now. I'm carrying, this is basically, I mean, this might look silly, but this is actually my hunting setup. And, you know, I've got my Eberlestock first aid kit with a tourniquet in there. Got a couple of mags for my 224 Valkyrie. I've got my laser rangefinder here, and then I've got a couple of pistol mags, and then my full-size Smith & Wesson 9mm here. Now, like I said, what happens with this belt is it slides off. There's no internal Velcro inside. Everything can just kind of rearrange itself as it so pleases. So that can move. This likes to fall off, given that it's the closest to the actual end of the belt. And you know, when you undo that, it just there's nothing to stop it from sliding out. So with a better belt system like I used to use in the correction system, what you actually had was either a large plastic buckle in the front for your exterior belt. You set all your gear on that where you wanted it, and then you had your internal belt, which you wore all the time inside your pants, and then your belt loops, I mean, and then you would just put it on, you wrap it around, and then that would secure onto that inner Velcro, and you never had your gear slide around. I mean, we were constantly running back and forth for staff assistance, you know, inmate attacks and that kind of thing. Or on the outside, you know, if you're responding to intruders, people trying to throw drugs over, that kind of thing. Or in one case, we had a couple ex-cons show up, and one guy actually, I'm pretty sure, actually was going for a pistol, and it was really reassuring knowing that my pistol was right where I wanted it to be when I needed it. And luckily in that case, it didn't end up going to an actual shootout there, but it came really freaking close. So like in this case, I mean, it may seem it might just seem like, okay, I lost out on, you know, going for a hike, right? The long-term thought that I have in this is that if this was something I was carrying in a real situation, whether it was being in the unfortunate situation of responding to a terrorist attack, for instance, we'll go really extreme, that kind of thing. And I'm effing around trying to get this belt on, and my freaking mag clips fall, you know, mag holders falling off the end, things sliding off, sliding down my butt, or no, even worse, I mean, if you have no hips or butt, it's sliding off completely and tripping you. I mean, that could be the difference, that is the difference between living and dying, whether it's your life or somebody else's life. If you're a first responder, having something like this in this crappy belt it's just flat out irresponsible. So most first responders out there are gonna know that though. I mean, but if you're in a situation where you're really serious about your training and you really want to improve, spend the extra money, get a good belt with a Velcro internal, and then you'll see it's got the Velcro on the outside belt as well too. And I believe Ronin Tactics, I think that's the name of that YouTube channel, he goes through some really excellent belts as well. There's John Lovell as well. And so look at what those guys are talking about, why they like them, why they don't. I mean, those guys are super solid, and a heck of a lot of respect for them. And I think they're, you know, looking at what they're doing, they're not gonna steer you wrong. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to try this belt out. It was what I had on hand, so I loaded it down with a lot of stuff. I've got 4 mags on here, pistol loaded, first aid kit, gloves, you know, and I had a bunch of other stuff in my drop pouch as well too, including a drone and stuff I was using for filming today. So I'll come back once I have a better belt and actually show you how I set it up. And it's sort of a modified version of how I used to run things when I was an officer, and you know, and how I prefer to carry. So I mean, I saw what worked and what didn't work, and about the only difference you're going to see is that I'm not carrying a Mark 9 or an OC spray on this belt.